My science project was a film nobody remembers, built on a set nobody wanted to work on, starring an actor who nearly got electrocuted by his own prop. The director panicked and ordered reshoots because of another movie, and the original ending left the main character invisible and alone forever. These are 14 incredible facts about my science project. 1985, you never knew.
Can you imagine the advanced alien civilization that created this?
1. Disney panicked because of Back to the Future. Back to the Future opened weeks before my science project, and Disney saw the problem immediately. 2 science-based time films hitting theaters simultaneously was a marketing disaster waiting to happen. They ordered massive reshoots. The goal was to make the film's science look more visually similar to Doc Brown's aesthetic. More gadgets, more spectacle, more apparent intelligence on screen. The reshoots happened 6 months after principal photography wrapped. The cast returned to sets that had been partially dismantled, filmed new scenes, and went home. The result is visible throughout the finished film. Characters seem to gain and lose intellectual capabilities between sequences. The tone shifts without warning. Half the movie exists in a different emotional register than the other half. Disney's panic solution created exactly the kind of confusion they were trying to avoid. 2. Dennis Hopper vanished for 3 days. Dennis Hopper played Mr. Roberts, the hippie science teacher whose relationship with reality was already professionally questionable. Before filming his time warp sequence, Hopper told the crew he was going to actually go there. Then he left. Nobody knew where he went. No phone call. No message through his representatives. 3 full days passed with the production unable to locate one of its cast members. He reappeared wearing the same clothes he'd left in, calm and unbothered. His explanation was simple. He had seen the 1960s again. Production resumed. No further explanation was offered or apparently requested. Whether Hopper was method acting, genuinely confused, or simply being Dennis Hopper is a question the historical record declines to answer definitively. 3. The alien orb broke every microphone. On set. The glowing orb at the center of the film's plot was built using plasma globe technology that was relatively new to practical effects work in 1985. It looked spectacular on camera. It was unusable as a prop. The device emitted a constant low-frequency hum that interfered with every microphone on the set. Sound engineers couldn't isolate it. The actors couldn't work around it. Every line of dialogue recorded in the engine room sequences was corrupted by the interference. The production team made a decision. Every single line filmed in those scenes would be re-recorded in a studio after principal photography completed. A DR for an entire location. Every actor brought back. Every line rebuilt from scratch. The orb looked like alien technology. It also performed like it. 4. Fisher-Stevens stole the movie one ad-lib at a time. Fisher-Stevens was cast in a supporting role as Vince, the Brooklyn-obsessed comic relief. The director gave him room to improvise. Stevens took approximately 70% of the room available. His ad-libbed material was consistently funnier than the scripted dialogue surrounding it. The director began making adjustments. Lines written for lead actor John Stockwell started migrating to Stevens. Scenes restructured themselves around whoever was generating the best material that day. Stockwell noticed. The tension between the two actors became a permanent feature of the set atmosphere. The lead actor watching the supporting actor absorb his movie one improvised line at a time is a specific kind of professional frustration that doesn't resolve easily. Stevens kept going. The director kept using it. 5. The T-Rex nearly crushed. A stuntman. The full-scale Tyrannosaurus Rex animatronic built for the hallway sequence was an impressive practical effects achievement with one significant engineering flaw: it was catastrophically top-heavy. The creature tipped repeatedly during filming, crashing into the locker banks that lined the hallway set. The crew repositioned it. It tipped again. The production developed a genuine rhythm of dinosaur falls and corridor repairs. During one take, the hydraulic neck assembly failed completely. The head detached and dropped toward a stuntman positioned below it. He was not seriously injured. The full-scale dinosaur was retired from active filming after that incident. The close-up shots completing the sequence were filmed using a hand puppet with forced perspective, creating the illusion of scale. The most dangerous prop on the production was replaced by something a child could hold. 6. The school was abandoned and possibly haunted. Production designer chose the abandoned Tucson High School in Arizona for the film's school sequences. Empty hallways, genuine institutional decay, atmosphere that a working school could never provide. The cast provided their own atmosphere in return. Actors reported hearing footsteps in corridors where nobody was walking. The sounds appeared consistently at night when the building should have been empty except for crew. Nobody investigated formally. The art department responded to the building's energy in their own way. Gothic and occult symbols were hidden throughout the science lab's set dressing. Not prominently placed. Hidden deliberately in the background of shots, they remain visible in the 4K restoration if you know where to pause. The production left the building slightly stranger than they found it. 7. John Stockwell was actually electrocuted. The scene where the boys connect the alien orb to a car battery involved real electrical components on a practical set. The combination produced an unscripted result. A live spark jumped from the prop and struck John Stockwell directly in the chest. He wasn't seriously injured. The voltage was insufficient to cause lasting damage. But the moment between the spark hitting him and his brain confirming he was still alive produced something no director could have choreographed. That exact expression is in the final cut of the film. Stockwell's genuine shock, the authentic physical response of a person who believed for 1 second they were being electrocuted by alien technology, is preserved permanently in a scene most audiences watched without knowing they were seeing something real. 8. A mechanic hid in the back seat. For every chase scene. The 1968 Pontiac GTO at the center of the film's plot was visually perfect, modified with enough futuristic junk to look appropriately alien-powered and distinctly 1980s. It also wouldn't start reliably. The engine was in poor enough condition that standard ignition couldn't be trusted to perform consistently during filming. A solution was needed that wouldn't require replacing the car or rebuilding the engine between takes. A mechanic solved the problem personally. He folded himself into the back seat for every chase sequence, staying below window level throughout filming, and manually fed fuel into the engine to keep it running while the actors performed in the front seats. Every driving scene in my science project has an invisible third occupant, crouched in the back, keeping the alien car alive by hand. 9. The alien engine sound came from Star Wars. The spacecraft audio in my science project required sounds that felt genuinely extraterrestrial. The sound design team found their source material in an existing library. The Lucasfilm sound library specifically. The engine activation sound used for the alien spacecraft is a pitch-shifted version of the Millennium Falcon's failing hyperdrive from Star Wars. The original recording was modified enough to obscure the direct connection, but not enough to eliminate it entirely for anyone paying close attention. Han Solo's broken ship and a high school student's alien engine share the same audio DNA. Whether this constituted official licensed use of Lucasfilm material or a more informal borrowing from a neighboring studio's archives is a question the production appears to have never publicly addressed. 10. Veterans groups protested the Vietnam sequence. The film's time warp sequences pull soldiers from various historical periods into the present, including combatants from the Vietnam War. The high school characters fight and defeat them as part of the film's climax. Veterans organizations objected immediately. The core complaint was specific. Using Vietnamese soldiers as action movie obstacles in a teen comedy was disrespectful to everyone who had actually served and died in that conflict. Reducing a war that devastated an entire generation to background action in a PG film crossed a line the studio hadn't anticipated drawing. And the studio's response was visual. Post-production added a glowing effect to the soldiers, reframing them as temporal ghosts rather than actual people. The protest was addressed through a special effect. Whether that satisfied anyone is a separate question. 11. One actor was cut out of a $20,000 costume. The future mutant makeup required 6 hours of application per actor. The finished result was physically comprehensive and completely imprisoning. Eating required straws. Sitting was impossible. The workday began in the makeup chair before dawn and ended whenever the director released the cast, none of whom could remove their own costumes without assistance. One actor reached his limit inside the full-body blob suit. Claustrophobia set in during filming. The physical confinement, the hours already spent inside the costume, the inability to move normally or breathe freely. It became too much. The actor needed to get out immediately. Emergency shears were used. A $20,000 costume was cut off an actor on a film that was already over budget. The makeup team rebuilt what they could. Production continued. 12. Michael Berryman's larger role was cut for the dinosaur horror. Audiences in 1985 recognized Michael Berryman immediately. His work in The Hills Have Eyes had given him a specific and powerful screen presence that the production wanted to use. The original plan was substantial. Berryman was cast as a post-apocalyptic warlord with significant screen time in the film's climactic sequences, a villain with genuine menace to anchor the finale. The studio made a different calculation. The T-Rex sequence tested better with preview audiences. Given a choice between Berryman's warlord and the dinosaur animatronic, the studio chose the dinosaur. His scenes were cut to create more room for the creature footage. Berryman's cameo in the finished film is brief enough to miss on a casual viewing. His warlord exists only in the footage that was never released. 13. The original ending. Left the hero. Invisible Forever test audiences sat through the original cut of My Science Project and watched Michael close the time warp, save his friends, and then stand alone in an empty school corridor. The act of stopping the engine had erased his own future. He had become a temporal ghost, visible to nobody, permanent and silent and completely alone. The ending held on him standing there. Test audiences responded with something beyond disappointment. The studio recognized immediately that the finale needed to be replaced entirely. A new ending was filmed. The happy graduation sequence that closes the released version of the film was shot last minute to replace a conclusion that sent audiences home in silence. The original ending exists in post-production records. The boy standing invisible in an empty hallway, the consequence of saving everyone, is preserved somewhere in a studio archive. It has never been released. 14. Disney removed. The Evil Government plot. The screenplay that entered development contained a specific and pointed antagonist. The alien engine wasn't extraterrestrial in origin. It was a classified government project designed for interdimensional resource extraction. The government in this version was actively hunting the teenagers, not to question them, to eliminate them. Disney read this and refused it completely. Or an evil government murdering high school students in a PG film released under the Touchstone banner was not a story they were prepared to distribute. The political implications of a sinister federal agency as the primary villain were too direct for the studio's comfort. The rewrite replaced government assassins with a bumbling local police force. The threat level dropped from lethal to comic. The politics dissolved entirely. The film that reached theaters had incompetent cops chasing teenagers. The film that was written had the government hunting children it considered acceptable losses. Disney chose the version with the cops. So which truth about My Science Project hit hardest? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you found an alien engine in a junkyard, time machine, or call the cops, subscribe and hit the bell. More classic sci-fi secrets are coming.